So if we could start this meeting by closing our eyes or turning our gaze inward. And notice your experience just as it is. Your experience is composed of bodily sensations. The gentle breath, certain hum or vibration within the body, if at all. A thought or an image that appears. A sound, hearing this voice, the hum of the fan, all of which is appearing sort of inwardly. Seamlessly. Without any division, a seamless tapestry. Which may include a sense of me, sort of here I am. Maybe the thought may appear I am in meditation or in satsang. It's all one seamless wholeness. Everything embraced in the same awareness. A certain sense of presence, continuity. One could say it's an inner realm of mind, of experience, arising within the spaciousness of I, of awareness. And as one gently opens one's eyes, now there is a visual field. Within that same uninterrupted continuity of awareness, you don't have to step over any line when the eyes are open. It's one continuous field of experience.
Era que no le había pegado ninguna mata. Me dijo, es que no me pegó ninguna mata. Le dije, entonces pongámosla en un solo sitio porque eso así no sigue.
Within the same spaciousness of awareness. There's no interruption. The same presence that was when the eyes are closed. Is the same presence when the eyes are open. The same screen. The same presence, the same awareness. the same reality. The changeless quality of awareness. It's the same when you are resting with your eyes closed. It's the same awareness when you are focusing on any object, any perception. The same reality. Same presence. And it's not out there. Although it seems that the perception is out there, nothing in fact is out there. There is an intimacy to our experience, which is the intimacy of awareness, the intimacy of I. Which is a reality that perceives, as well as the reality of that which is perceived. Closer than close. Complete and total non-separation. You cannot separate an atom, a molecule out of your experience. No matter how hard you try. It's a seamless wholeness. That is non-dual. Uninterrupted by thought. Uninterrupted by feelings. Uninterrupted by perception. Uninterrupted by any sensation. Uninterruptible. There's nothing outside of the reality of consciousness to unplug it or plug it back in. There is no plug anywhere. Everything is the current of consciousness, the current of love, the current of intimacy, the current of transparency. This one reality, which is your reality, the reality of I. The reality of that which you perceive is that reality of consciousness. Which is non-phenomenal, non-material, undefined by the mind, undefined by concepts, undefined by beliefs, undefined by history, undefined by feelings. The absolute certainty of being, the absolute certainty of consciousness defines itself. Knows itself by its very being. Without the need of any affirmation. It confirms itself from itself, by itself, to itself. Okay, so if there are any questions, please make sure you unmute your mic. Hello, Holger.
Hello, Magdi. Not to talk about the dead past, but there was a feeling of unworthiness. Like, in a way, I would not deserve having so many satsangs without any result or anything. I mean, without giving anything back or without having an effect or something. And I just observed this, and I don't believe in it, but it was just interesting that yeah, maybe just another voice, another lie. Maybe you can say something.
Yes. Well, one could say that all thoughts about yourself, which do not refer to God, which do not refer to truth, are false. A thought about, let's adjust the volume here, okay. Okay, John. A thought about truth comes from truth. It's already enlightened with truth. And it's open to the absolute. It's open to that which is real. That thought doesn't arise from the belief of being a person. But doubt is a falsehood because it refers to your imaginary self, to that which you imagine yourself to be, in which you have agreed you are, which you have sort of acquiesced to be defined by your feelings or by certain sets of beliefs and images and sensations. Whichever way you define yourself is false, because the reality that perceives, the reality of your experiences, the reality that hears these words, what would know it if not itself? Everything that you define is within the perceptual realm, whether it's subtle or gross. You define a thought, you define a creative thought, you define a feeling, you define a perception, you define a certain object, you define a certain sensation. Everything that you define is in your perceptual realm, in the realm of existence. But that which defines is not in the realm of existence. It is in the realm of reality, of truth, of being, which is I. So when the thought arises that I'm not progressing, the I within that thought is a false I. And as soon as we get on board of that canoe, we're going to experience the rapids and the instability the lack of stability, lack of balance of being in a canoe in the middle of the rapids. But when we remain not knowing, meaning transparent to whatever appears, it's not an action, really. It is more an inaction, meaning we do not take a stand vis-a-vis what appears to us. Neither do we get on board, nor do we get off the door. We just remain as we are. Remaining as we are does not mean remaining as anything, because the way we are is consciousness. That which we are is consciousness. It's not any position, any particular position, or any particular way of being. It is actually not being in any particular way that is more like it. Not being in any particular way, meaning not adopting any certain positions, not adopting any knowledge about yourself, about the world, about enlightenment, about progress, about time, about the past, about the future, about your family, about the world, about the economy, about the universe, about the galaxies, about God, about the gurus. To be completely not knowing. The complete not knowingness is the openness and the availability and the spaciousness, the absolute formlessness of being, in which you cannot find any iota of resistance, any infinitesimal effort, not any infinitesimal object towards which to move towards or away from. So when these things arise, these thoughts arise, they may have a certain impression, but the impression is empty. You don't need to focus your attention on this particular impression. Allow this impression, because it's there, to be part of the globality of your experience, not to be the cutout upon which your entire experience is focused, but rather to be an element, component of the totality.
Thank you, Magdi. It's quite amazing just to be alive. And I couldn't explain you right now anything. And I don't even know what to say, but there's gratitude and there is improvement in regard, there's peace and there's joy and there's yeah, and I don't know. That's maybe the best statement I can give. I don't know.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. It's very gracefully said, and it's received very gracefully. It's very beautiful.
There's still an old part where it kind of needs to justify itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I see that this is just an old story.
Yeah, I understand. And so to the extent that's possible, we are not complicit to that justification. It may arise, But to the extent that's possible, we don't buy that ticket. We don't. Oops, okay, John, the volume. We don't invest. And if we do, then so be it. We don't need to make a big deal even of that. Sooner or later, maybe lost a little bit in the woods, we come out to the clearing, okay, fine. So we experienced the heart pounding, we experienced the sense of being lost. Okay, so as you say, it is just an amazing thing to be alive, this experience of being, and of course it's so beautiful to be together, to be sharing and to be exploring, but just an awe of life, of being, and all what it provides in terms of, it rubs ignorance up to the surface. Sometimes we can understand that, we can see it this way, as opposed to seeing God punishing us or not loving us enough. God's love manifests in every aspect of our life if we can get the understanding, the wisdom to see that.
Thank you.
Magdi?
Yes, Emmanuel?
Hola. Do you see me and hear me well?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, good. Good to see you.
You do. Oh, the rooster. Yes.
Yeah, the whole farm is here.
Yeah.
Roosters, the hens, the dogs.
When I was a young boy, I lived in a valley, and there were a lot of farms around.
Mm.
And we would hear the roosters regularly. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The thing is that sometimes they come here around my place like at 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. in the morning. Ah! Oh.
Off your shoe, you take off your shoe.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I wanted to have a feedback from you about, there is this relationship that I am experiencing now with this girl. I'm trying to stretch my my spiritual practice, the sadhana or satsang, into this aspect, into this new relationship. Um, the thing is, it's nice because she has suffered a lot as well as myself, so she's very open to spirituality and very interested in happiness. And I introduced her to the non-dual knowledge or something, like by showing to her some videos and stuff. It's something new to her. She was very interested in Buddhism and some other things. The thing is that how to how to make this aspect, this space of this relationship into a satsang or into a sadhana, you know, how to remain grounded and connected. Sometimes I see how the old tendencies, you know, pull me strong. And also when we talk about different stuff, I see that the tendency to the, the tendency to feel that yes, there is a person in here that wants to be with another person there, you know, like we are two different person, we two different beings or something. And then I question again my like this. And so yeah, that's the thing, that how to make this
Yeah.
relationship into a sadhana.
Well, for one thing, Emmanuel, obviously we are different. We are different in our body minds, our history, our ways of maybe reacting to different situations, the things that we like, the things that we enjoy, the things we don't like. So yes, there are two different body minds that are interacting, and they are different pieces, different entities. But what joins us, what we have in common, is love. What we have in common is allows and embraces and makes room, has room for these differences. So in a relationship, we honor the other as they are. We are discovering them. We're discovering them in the relationship moment by moment, not in terms of having an image. We're creating a statue in the laboratory about our partner. No, but moment by moment, there is a fresh interaction. There is a new, completely new me and new you that are sort of interacting, meeting. Oops, the volume again. Just adjust the volume. So, okay, let me see. Thank you for that comment about the volume. So, in a relationship, the relationship is based on love and honor and respecting the other, and sort of allowing the differences, and including recognizing within ourselves certain tendencies. We may have some judgments that may arise, or some feelings that arise are usually, some sort of judgment or resistance. To also recognize that within ourselves, and as much as possible inviting the relationship to recognize that possibility, that of having certain images of each other, certain conditions, of each other. Of course, we cannot dictate for the other how to be in the relationship. But how we are in the relationship makes a big difference in the relationship. When we are in the relationship not just with the other, but with ourselves at the same time.
Mm.
The relationship with ourselves, meaning we are also aware of some of our current, in general, our tendencies, and in more specifically, in the present moment, what is going on within. Sometimes we are in a conversation or we are in presence of each other, and I'm holding behind my back a stick as a figurative way of speaking. I may not be fully available. There may be something that's spinning about how my partner should be and how they shouldn't be. To be aware of that also, and to be watchful that whenever you give power to that, it derails the relationship. Now, the fact that your partner is interested in the self, in truth, interested in happiness, is a very good thing. But their path may not align itself in the same way that your path is. It's possible that although we're both interested in the same destination, we may be at different points along the path. So you have to be watchful that you're not carrying any images about yourself or images about her concerning happiness or concerning our interest in truth. Not to pin yourself down or pin her down in any way. A relationship is happier when it's light, when it's not so, isn't much at stake. It's just, in a way, two friends, enjoying each other's company and enjoying doing things together and enjoying time alone, enjoying also their own space where in the relationship there is that space available for one to be with oneself. And also, it's important the relationship isn't like a front door with a key. You need to have the key to enter and the key to leave. It has to be without any walls. Sort of in the sense that we are honoring the other. We're honoring their freedom. And could be that they may go in a direction that is outside of the relationship. We don't know. And then you have the option of also leaving the relationship. That would be part of the relationship, is the continuation of the relationship that apart. In fact, one could say that we are all in relationship with each other as the human race. Whether we are intimate together or not. We are in relationship as consciousness. And also, it's important not to impose on the other. Be more sort of available or responding, and also sharing, but to be watchful of one's certainty. Sometimes we are too certain. As if that we are right in our point of view or in our opinion. There isn't this flexibility. I think irrespective of relationship in life in general too, because all of life is relationship. We're always interfacing, interacting. To have that graceful aspect of relating out of a certain curvilinear rather than linear, more fluid, more like in music. Being together in the orchestra, one person is playing the guitar, the other one is playing the oboe, and somehow we're listening to each other and we're together in the symphony. And because we are, human, we have that aspect of ourselves which is conditioned by fear and attachments and sense of abandonment, all of that. Sometimes the relationship unveils some of that stuff. And sometimes in relationship, it's possible to sort of explore that together, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just your own personal exploration. It depends. You don't know when certain fears arise or certain concerns arise, whether they can be explored together. And of course, the ideal exploration is to see the false beliefs, because all negative feelings, fears, concerns, worries, they are about the false belief that I am, mortal, limited body, mind, limited consciousness. But again, that's really taking it to a high level. It's rarely possible to really be talking at that level in a relationship. But there are ways around it. There are ways of talking about one's emotions, where you're not holding on, you're more exploring, you're more like an explorer. So as an explorer, you're listening, you're watching, you're alert, there's an alertness.
So it's not necessary for a relationship like the two people are like in the same kind of level with the, I don't know if level is the right word, but
We are all human. We're all here. If we are together, there is a connection already. I
I
mean,
think what I mean is that, for example, with the non-dual path, with this non-dual understanding, it's not that I am more advanced or something like that, but this all this knowledge is always like around, like, and I say, okay, I don't know if this path is the path for her, maybe as you were saying. So is it possible to have a happy relationship even if the two persons are like in different paths or something? Sometimes I think about you and Tara, that both of you, when you knew each other, you were like very committed on the same track. And sometimes I think, well, maybe it should be that way. I don't know.
we're all truth lover in a way. I mean, not truth lover. We all love peace and happiness, and we all have the same interest, and so we have that in common. We're all exploring in our own way, and we're connected.
Lucy, stop it. Stop it.
We are connected in that interest in peace and happiness. And we're all connected, as a way of speaking, as this one consciousness. We're all this one consciousness. So when you separate yourself as a truth lover versus somebody who is more, has an interest in truth, and there's a difference between a truth lover and one who is interested in truth, that's a false separation.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because we are all fruits on the same tree. And some fruits are more at the surface and they get more of the sun, and so they have more reddish, and the ones closer to the inside the tree, they have less sunlight and they will become reddish later on. That's irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant that all fruits on the same tree. And we always learning from each other. It's not that, I know and you won't learn from me, no, it's not like that. It is an interaction, and within the interaction, it flows both ways. It's not. So we bring in that understanding in the relationship, that that I am open in the relationship, and the openness, in the openness there is a giving and a receiving, but without anyone actually doing any giving and receiving. It's a flow. It's it's even the verbal and the mental is just an additional, it's just an expression of the flow, that it is not that the flow is occurring in what we do or what we say. There is an interaction, a non-verbal interaction, sort of an interaction just in presence, in being presence, that precedes and supersedes what we may share, what we may do together, etc. And so how you are is much more important than what you say and what you do. And of course, what you say and what you do is going to be affected by how you are. But how you are, above all, is in the moment, in this moment, what you assume yourself to be. And anything that you assume yourself to be is a superimposition. It's a form of limitation on your true nature, on the spaciousness of being, irrespective of how you define yourself. Even the greatest guru in the world, it's still a limitation upon reality, upon truth, upon consciousness. So then you come to the relationship not as anyone in particular. And coming in the relationship is not, there is no relationship. In fact, this relationship is in this moment. This is the relationship. It's not a relationship, sort of a conceptual relationship or a theoretical relationship. The relationship is what is being lived. The relationship is life now, is now. This actually, the relationship, the now, is just an expression. It's just a teeny tiny expression of our true relationship, which is our relationship as consciousness, is our indivisibility. So this relationship is only an appearance. It's only a sort of a manifestation of our much deeper and broader relationship as consciousness. It's like the wave, or even a big wave. It's just a tiny, tiny manifestation or expression of the vastness of the ocean. So there is this recognition that, yes, there is a relationship, and it's very, very beautiful and very important, and this is what we are facing and what we are celebrating, enjoying, exploring. But that this relationship, it has a much deeper roots. And the idea that there is this one wave that is more of a truth lover than this other wave is erroneous. It's not. This is just language when we speak about, what we are always pointing to is our natural, what we are. Consciousness may sound like, wow, but it's just what we are. It's the reality of our experience, the naturalness of our experience is consciousness. It's not something special. So be natural. Be natural only means don't be unnatural. It doesn't mean be natural, because how can you be natural? You are natural. You are nature. Just don't be unnatural. We are unnatural when we go to the thoughts about, oh, what we believe we are, and thoughts and ideas we have about non-duality, about him, about her, about, you know, what defines you, separates you. And when you separate yourself, what sort of relationship is there when you separate yourself? We can speak about relationship, but in fact, we need to take a closer look. And just enjoy the relationship. Just enjoy the present moment, how it's unfolding, and see in the relationship, moment by moment, the cup, the cup half full, not half empty. See the fullness, the joy of being with a friend, seeing her, sensing that she's in the room next door, and hearing her voice and hearing the voice, and just having a feeling of just her company, you know. It's simple.
Yeah, very beautiful. Very nice. Okay. Okay. Um, I've been curious for a while, and this is a question that I wanted to ask you for a long time. How is it, from your experience, for example, with Tara, how is it to be in a relationship or having a partner with the full understanding that you and the other are not two separate beings, are one, you know, like you're sharing the same house, you are sharing time, being together, because it's not my direct full experience, you know, their sense of separation is always there, coming and going. So how is it to, yeah, to be in a relationship without this sense of separation from the other?
Well, so I don't care so much about any images of Tara or of myself or of anybody for that matter. So Tara, she's a beautiful person. We just enjoy being together, and sometimes she's doing whatever she's doing, I don't know, and I'm doing what I'm doing. There isn't, like, there are no images, or so therefore there is no judgment, you know. Of course, that's but it's pretty simple. So we both, you know, we talk quite a bit together. About various things. Sometimes we're just sitting, watching over the hill here and just enjoying it. And Tara shares a lot of things with me, which is really beautiful. She shares a lot of wisdom. She shares a lot of her own contemplations, which I really enjoy because it's a topic I love, So, but sometimes she shares other things about the world, about other various events, and I enjoy that too. It's just because she's sharing it, and so I'm interested in, just because it's appearing, so I'm interested because it's appearing, so I'm listening, and I like to give my attention when Tara talks to me. I like to give her my attention. So sometimes, I'm in the middle of something, like, if I'm working on something, and then I just say, okay, just give me a few minutes, because a train of thought, I don't want I need to finish what I'm writing. But then I like to give her my full attention. And I've realized it's important, to sort of be, I find that to work for me, to sort of be available, just to listen. And sometimes it takes me a few minutes to comprehend, because maybe my mind was somewhere else, and I have to sort of get on board. And Tara makes she makes very wonderful food, and she makes lots of healthy juices and shakes and
I know that.
salads.
I know that.
So I enjoy that,
Yeah. For almost 20 days. Gaining some weight up there.
I used to enjoy it. I think I still do enjoy cooking. Just that I have become habituated to Tara's sort of. But I do help out. I have to say, I help out.
Yeah. Okay.
It's really simple, it's nothing special.
Thank you for sharing, Mike.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yes. Yes. Bro.
Hey, who is this one? Hola,
everybody. I don't normally get online here.
All right.
Welcome board.
Yeah, usually just a silent listener here. But it's a beautiful topic, and so I just will share a little bit of my experience because I was kind of included in the conversation.
Yeah, please.
Well, first of all, I'm just very grateful to be in a relationship that has no you-me dynamics. It's, so the focus is on the open space, the loving peace. And I find I'm just so grateful to have support for that, to, stabilize and go back again and again to what I truly am, and not to take myself to be a body mind with limitations. And yeah, as Magdi said, we look at things a lot. We talk a lot about truth and things arising. And actually, I wake him up a lot in the middle of the night. And I go, "Hun," and then I'm like looking at something, and he's like, then he's right there with me. It's like he doesn't actually sleep. He's right there. And there is then this looking at things like as direct experience. And that's the part that I value the most, because it's not conceptual. And so there's this freshness of looking in the moment. And so there's a lot of that in the relationship. Yeah, I'm just really grateful. And there's also this, like there's this, there's a lot of laughter, and there's a lot of synchronicity where something arises at the same time. He's saying something and I'm saying the exact same thing at the same time, or the thought arises here and he speaks it, or vice versa. So I noticed that I've never had with any other experience, there's so much synchronicity. And it's like, you can't even then say, well, whose thought was it, or who said that, or who, it's like so open that things aren't in these compartments anymore. And I feel that that is such an honoring in relationship with the whole universe, to not put it into these boxes. And yeah, okay. Anyway, that's all that comes to mind.
Thank you for
Paul.
sharing.
That was great. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh, you're very welcome. And since I'm online and I don't often, join in this way, just sending my love to all of you. And, I just find it so sweet that you all, love the truth, and you come to, just be active in that. And I wish you all just enormous blessings on your path to your own freedom.
Thank you, Tara.
Well, thank you, Tara. Very beautiful. Any questions?
Do you sleep, Magdi?
It's interesting the way how can we describe sleep when there isn't a me? I guess
Okay. Yeah.
if you take a camera and you film, you may see the body that my mom and dad called Magdi in bed. But it's interesting, it's like the experience is not, I don't have an experience that I sleep. It's not my experience. And it's interesting also the dreams, and how do you describe dreams when there isn't a me? It's like this moment, in this moment, and there is this perception. But is there a me? So in a way, our experience, if you really look at it in a sober way, without leaving it, just if you look at your experience in this moment, there is a perception, there is I, consciousness, that sort of, one could say, taking on the form of this perception, but there isn't a separate perceiver. So even to say there is a perception is just a way of speaking, because it's not that we're experiencing a perception. Our experience is never that of a perception. Our experience is always that of being, of awareness, of presence. And there are no words for it. Even to say being, presence, awareness is just a way of speaking. Yeah, reality is non-dual. So there isn't a subject and an object. So how could we speak of a perception or of an experience that is void of subject and object? You see the challenge of conversation, of speaking, of language? And yet that is our experience. I'm not talking about...
That makes sense.
Yes. I'm not talking about a particular experience of a sage or experience. No, I'm talking about our normal experience, our actual experience is that of being, of presence. There are no words for it. We say life, we say... It's okay to use language to sort of speak metaphorically. And so when we contemplate the subject and an object, when we look really closely, we don't find a separation. We don't find an actual object and a subject. We find that, yes, there is the undeniable, an undeniable reality, which in our experience, we experience as I, or as presence, or as consciousness, or as Brahman, or whatever the word is. And you can't divide it, and you can't add anything to it or remove anything from it. There isn't in it any separate thing. So it's like the ocean. You could say that the ocean, there are currents and waves and temperature gradients within the ocean. But that's just from the perspective of somebody who comes and observes currents or takes a thermometer and measures the temperature of the Indian Ocean versus the Pacific Ocean. But the ocean itself isn't measuring its temperature, isn't sort of keeping data about the current or the Gulf Stream, or it is not doing that. That's just a way of speaking. It's a way of speaking. Similarly, in our experience, we say, okay, there are sensations, perceptions, feelings, thoughts. That's just a way of speaking. In fact, our experience is the wholeness of being. It's undivided. There are no definitions that can define. No aspect of the mind, no matter how evolved it is, can define reality. And it's inevitable, especially when we have the interest for the falsehood, for the veils to dissolve, to end. And so we are here together, we do this together. We explore together, we look at things together. Whichever way, whatever we're looking at is relevant, because it's how we're looking. We are looking with a serious interest in truth. Well, okay. Thank you all. Very lovely to be with you, Emmanuel, Holger, Zoe, Aya, Holly, hello Holly, Lena, Esther, John, and Frank. Thank you all. And Tara, sweet Tara.
Yeah, thank you both. Beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you, Magdi and Tara.